Hey everyone, Tonia Reeves, Australias Cowgirl Medium, coming at you this morning, and Tony will be with us shortly. So how cool is that? So I'm in Sydney, currently in Sydney town. Check that little view from the motel here. You can see out the window, and really excited to be on board on the road today. So that's pretty cool. So jump on board, say g'day. I think I can see everyone's comments. And let me know if you're here. And like I said, Tony should be joining us any moment. He's had an appointment this morning, and then he's just going to jump on board. So it is sunny here in Sydney. I think we had a little bit of rain through the night, but it's certainly a good sunny day. You can see out here now. Hey Tash, how you going? Hey everyone, can you hear me okay? Hoping that you can hear me. And oh look, here's Tony. That's Ed. We can't miss him.
Hello.
Hey, Tony.
Hello, Tonia Reeves, all the way in Sydney, Australia, coming to you live from one of the grandest hotel rooms ever. How are you, mate? You good? You settling into Sydney all right?
Yes, we are. We have had a lot of fun exploring, and it's a great place where we are. Really, really cool. So really excited to be at the MBS today.
Whereabouts did you go to last night? Because you've got so much to explore around there. It is just limitless.
Yes, it is. We had a good walk around yesterday, walked up so we knew where we were going to the Sydney Convention Centre today. So we had a bit of a wander around, checked it out. There's a great restaurant here. So we had a really great feed last night and great sleep. Slept great.
Oh, good. You look really well rested and everything. You look fantastic. Whereabouts did you have your feed? I always like to hear about good places to go eat in Sydney because although I'm from here, I can't get to all of them.
Yes, absolutely. Well, it's the brewery something. It's here at the Ridges
Hotel. Why am I
Hotel.
not surprised that Andrew...
And they didn't just have craft beer. How good's that? So he's very excited, Tony.
Oh, is it the one on the corner? What's it called? It's called the Brewery something, is it?
Yeah, it is. It's right adjacent to the place. Great food. Yeah, like extensive list of anything you could want, which is pretty good.
Nice. That sounds so super cool. Hey, Gay's on board too. How are you,
Hey,
Gay?
Gay, how are you? Yes, Tash has been busy working. She's put in here. I'm good, just exhausted, worked over 40 hours. Wow. Now, Tash, I remember a couple of weeks ago you were like, I'm not getting any work. And now they're hammering you.
Mate, it's like you got a smorgasbord of work there, Tash. Keep it coming, you just got to get it work fit again. You'll be onto it, don't you worry. But yeah, so tell me, you must be excited about being in Sydney and about doing the Mind Body Spirit Festival, which is fantastic. Have you had a chance to? So you said you walked from your hotel to the gig, to the convention
absolutely.
Center?
Yesterday we just to give me a bit of an idea on how to get there and that kind of thing. So
was it a nice walk?
Great, really nice walk.
Yeah, it is nice, isn't it?
Andrew walked too.
He does not have princess syndrome. But look,
no, he doesn't. not this week.
Only with public transport. But in saying that, because you walked down, did you walk down through sort of like on the outskirts of Chinatown and then through the Darling Harbour bit? You know where we would have had drinks with yourself, Scott, Hannah, and that, where there was that.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
You would have just gone past that.
Yes.
Yep.
They're doing everything up there, though, I think, because they've got... I thought Vivid was on this week, but it doesn't start till next week. So they're doing a lot of works getting preparation for that at Darling Harbour at the moment. So it's pretty... There's a lot of machinery, and Andrew's already, like, looking at them going, that guy can't drive, that all these city operators, they can't fill a bucket up properly, apparently.
Hey. It's a very good assessment of Sydney workforce, can I just say?
I swear, if I hadn't have held Andrew back, I'm sure he would have ran over there and said, mate, get off it. I'll show you how it should be done.
Look, do you know, it's like you've taken the full rugby team with, 13 players, or let's say rugby union, like you got 15 players, but you've turned up for a sevens tournament and only 7 of them need to play. But you still take all the 15 and God knows what the other 8 are doing because...
Exactly. And it's like, this is not efficient at all.
Oh,
I go, honey,
look.
I don't think they do it for efficiency.
But look, do you know what it is? Andrew would most probably agree with this. One of the things it will start to pick up because we've got Sydneyites working in Sydney, which are just lazy bastards at the best of times. But because we haven't had a whole lot of tourists come in. So normally it's when the English, the Irish, Spanish, and the South American backpackers come in and they get these construction jobs. They hammer through it. They actually do quite well. So we're starting to see that come back into Sydney, which is really, really good. So that should show things are really coming back up as well. Let's have a look who we got on board. Monica, good to see you. Good morning, kids. Good morning, mother. How are you?
Hey, Mon.
Hey, Chris is on board. How are you, buddy? Really good to see you. Yes, very good to see Chris a little bit on there. So, yeah, let's have a look at, tell me, were you able to go into the Mind, Body, Spirit Festival yesterday, or did you just walk up there? Like, was it open for you guys to walk in and set up or do anything like that?
No, I think that they do the bump in yesterday, so we keep, we let them do what they need to do, keep out of the way and get it set up. So I'm on today at 2:00, so we'll wander up there. I usually get there at least a good hour and a bit before, and get a feel for everything, and catch up with all the amazing souls that I've got to know really well over the time with doing the Mind, Body, Spirit festivals. So
I know. So for all you Sydney people out there, if you've had somebody pass away, you want to reconnect, go and see Tonia at the Mind, Body, Spirit Festival today at 2:00. But the thing is, in saying that, Tonia, and Orla and I are going to come watch you. Hannah's going to come. Like Hannah's a groupie, by the way. She just can't get it. She just loves you to death. She really does. And the thing is, if you haven't seen Tonia Reeves actually do a live performance ever as a mediumship show, whether you've had somebody pass away or not, it does not matter. It is truly worth the experience to go and watch you work live. It is one of the best things. I'm actually looking forward to coming down and seeing you perform and do your what you're gifted at doing is connecting people to spirit or to loved ones that have passed away. And it's the most amazing thing because it's not just, it gets emotional, but it gets quite humorous as well. You're brilliant. You bring out the funny aspects of it, and Spirit will have jokes with you. And I'm really curious. Like, you do have it where you have a good laugh, and in Spirit world, how important is humor? I'm just curious with that.
Absolutely. Like, you got to remember, and I was just saying that to a gorgeous soul I got to do a reading on this morning, and I said, imagine that they hang out with us, our, friends and family and spirit. And if we lead a boring life, can you imagine like somebody that, just exists and you'd be sitting around going, this is boring, And so that's why I say to people, go and have fun, because they want to have fun with you. They want to do the things that maybe they didn't get a chance to do in life. And they love that. So when we're having fun, they're having fun. And I honestly believe humor is one of the best healing tools that we can have.
Yep, I agree with you. And look, Chris has just written in. Chris, I'm really sorry to hear this, brother, but he goes, suffering with chemotherapy, insomnia. Oh, you poor thing. But the benefit is I'm awake to watch you guys. Look, hey, Chris, talking about putting pressure on us, buddy. So we've got to really lift our game here. Tonia, we've got no choice.
We'll see if Chris is still here at the end of this show.
I know, we might have Chris, we might even put you to sleep, brother. Do you know what I'm saying? It could work either which way. You'll have a good laugh, or
we'll try our best, Chris, though, we promise. We'll try our best.
Absolutely. Look, we're going to send you out some healing love there for you to get a really good recovery and rest up well as you can. It's not an easy thing. If anybody else has been through chemo before, jump on board and just give Chris a bit of support and a bit of love. It's always really, really welcomed in this community. It is. In saying that, look, you're saying humor is a big thing. It really is. It's one of those things where even Spirit is going out there and doing. But you've got other bits, like people, I've noticed sometimes people come to you trying to get clarity or build a bridge sometimes, Tell me about that, because that's a really interesting point as well.
Well, the interesting part is that when Spirit comes through, and everyone's unique, so it's not necessarily one size fits all with Spirit. They'll come through as they were, like the soul. Yes, we leave our physical bodies behind, but we still have that soul, but, continues on. So that's had all those experiences with us, here living. But what often happens is when, I'm shown that when we pass over, we have that reflection time, or it's like a time where we go through our own personal healing, and we get to see things that maybe we did that, weren't for our highest good, or, we're able to reflect on the other person's point of view that maybe we couldn't do in life. So in a lot of cases, and not necessarily all, but in a lot, you will see spirit come through with, I acknowledge that I didn't do probably the best I could have, or I have that realization that maybe I could have done things better. And that brings a lot of healing about for those that are maybe left here that are still feeling that loss, but also, the healing side of it, that we all can have realizations, and we do the best we can with what we have, but at the same time, we can look back and go, I probably could have done better.
Yeah, it's really interesting. That's quite an important one, because there are bits where people will have regret, remorse, or a sense of guilt towards somebody that has passed, and it sort of like helps to heal that, or it confirms that you were an asshole to them. Either which way, you got some clarity around it, haven't you?
Absolutely, and we can all reflect, and I think sometimes that's a good lesson for us as well, is we do the best we can, but sometimes, as humans, we need to look at where we sit with things, and don't leave things to your past to have that realization. If there's things you need to change in your life, or if you can look at where you are at right now and go, how can I be the best version of myself? And it doesn't mean about pleasing everyone else. It's just being who you are and honoring that. And if there is parts of your life that you want to change, or aspects of yourself you want to change, we have the ability to do that. And I honestly believe that we're often given examples of this. And there was a connection that I had where a lady was hit by a car, and she came out of it fine, but it was like from that she'd separated from a partner. She had all these things happen, and it was like it took that to happen for her to make the choices that were for the
she
best
got hit by a
benefit of
car
herself.
and then left her partner?
Yeah.
She's got to listen to these messages a lot earlier. Let me just
That's exactly. But this is what happens, and I honestly believe, and a little bit, even Chris going through what he's going through health-wise, sometimes the body's trying to tell us we need to change some things, and it doesn't mean that these have to be major changes, but it might just be the way we see things, or the way we do things, or being aware of, if the body's out of kilter, then we want to change something so that we can then do that healing, get better, and get back on track, but also let go of maybe things that we're hanging on to that we don't need any longer.
Oh, wow, I like that insight, because for Chris, it's sort of like he'll mostly go through and go, oh, do you know what? There's a couple of things. When I get out of this, I'm going to do a few things differently. Thank you so much, Maz.
Exactly. And that's honestly what I feel. The
I
body's
love Mary
there.
Ellen.
It's out. Can I have one
best.
too? Thanks.
No, I was running in late. I go, we call her Maz because her partner's Daz, and so she got the nickname Maz. I go, Maz. I feel really bad. Like, she's so lovely. She's beautiful. She does our front desk. But I feel really shy for asking for stuff like this, like for a coffee. So I go, oh, Maz, do you mind? Look, I know you're doing everything, but do you mind just getting me a quick coffee? And so she's great. I'd be gone without her.
You can't beat good help.
No, hey, look, listen, I want to get on to Jessica here as well. Jessica, really sorry to hear this one. My kids and I lost my partner this year. I got told you're really good at connecting to spirit. Yeah, she is. Look, no pressure, Tonia, just lift your game. Jessica, I'm just going to say, I'm really sorry for you and your kids. That's a tough one to take, and it's going to be very, very hard. And only this year, Jess, so that's pretty recent. So, look, if you're in Sydney way, Jess, I don't know, is Jessica in Sydney, or where is she at?
I'm not sure where Jessica's from. Reach out, Jess. Definitely.
Private message, Tonia.
Yeah, for some, like, being that it's fairly recent, probably public forums, not, like, connecting to spirit, like, they choose who comes through. So if, say, for instance, Jess happened to be at the Mind, Body and Spirit Festival, and her partner decided that that's when they're going to come through, that they definitely do. But sometimes for own healing, a one-on-one's a little bit, you know, especially that connection that's so strong being a partner, and the fact that you're, you know, you've got the children, you know, that's a big, big call. And you know, my heart reaches out to you, Jess, because it's not only your own grief that you need to deal with, but, you know, you're being that parent to the children as well. That's not an easy task to do whatsoever.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, unfortunately, Jess just says, she goes, no, I'm on the mid-north coast. It's a pity because if you do see a live Jessica, just between you and me, and you get to do one in the show, it's a freebie, really. You haven't paid nothing for. It's part of her show. Like, what do you care? Like, you get a free one. But if it's something, no, seriously, Jessica, I will vouch for Tonia here. If it's something that you want to do and you want to connect to your partner, absolutely, just go for it and get in touch with Tonia. Just private message
reach out is fine, absolutely,
and see how you go.
And trust in the timing. You know, the timing, like, sometimes people will reach out and then for whatever reason it takes a little bit to get a reading done. You know, the timing is always orchestrated by spirit, I say. So sometimes it might be, if it's too early in the piece, then it just gets, you know, you'll reach out to get a reading and then it doesn't happen. But, you know, it will happen at the perfect timing, and just know that. And know also that there'll be 100% signs around you. So trust those signs. And, you know, I really feel for you with your partner. There'll be a lot of signs around to let you know that he's okay and that he's still around, because they really like to give you that sense of them still being around. And that can be coming to you in a dream. It can be giving you numbers, or just, you know, signs that there are birds coming around. There's so many signs that they...
Would you say there's also this thing where you feel a presence? So let's say for Jessica's case, because we're using all our senses to try to pick up, you know, where the signals are. But does that ever happen where Jess can just feel a presence of a partner being there?
Absolutely. Yeah. It can be hard, you know, for the first 6 months. It can be really hard because we do have to still process our grief, and often that grief and loss, the heaviness of that, can make it hard to identify that energy of that loved one coming through. So I also say, don't feel bad if you think I don't sense them, because some people will come and go, I don't feel them at all, you know. And but they're definitely there, but it is all about an individual journey on the grief and how we can connect with that. And Jess has put in here, it has through a bird and a certain butterfly. I love it. And that's all you need to do, Jess, is acknowledge and say, thank you, love you, you know, I'm excited for these messages, and it amplifies it. So they go, yeah.
Jessica, how cool would it be for Jessica if she just found that, you know, her partner was connected to her through spirit, but it was through her bank account, and there was just a shitload of money in there, right? And it was from that, Jessica, that would be better, let's be honest, than a butterfly. Like, if I could, but I love that you've been perceptive enough to go in, oh, okay, yeah, there's a certain bird or a butterfly that comes up, and that's really nice. You've got that connection. That's quite healing, which is really powerful. Really important. Yeah,
absolutely.
Joanne,
and not everyone gets that, Jess. So well done for that.
Joanne's
Kudos to you for that.
Hey, if you guys have got any questions, I think this is a really good time to ask Tonia. This is an interesting one to have, you know, an expert in the field in mediumship. What happens in spirit world? Like what does spirit say? What are their reactions like? I mean, like, you're not going to speak to anybody better than Tonia. So if there is a question that you want to ask, and we won't go into specifics, so we won't go into, you know, like, unfortunately, Jessica, if you go, oh, is my partner still around? Is there any signs? But you can just ask in general. Like, I'll throw one out there for you. A question that I would have, I've heard a rumor that, let's say if somebody was an addict of some sort, and let's say if they were heroin or alcohol or whatever, and they die and they pass away, does that spirit need to heal in the spiritual realm, or once it comes out of the physical body, is that it? Or is there still some work or healing they have to do in another realm? I suppose that's the question.
Well, what I've been shown, and again, I can only come from the perspective of what spirit have shown me, because obviously I haven't been there, and I always say that to people. Look, you know, this is what I feel, because we can't be an expert if we haven't totally experienced it, can we? So
sure.
You know, it is an interpretation, and this is what you know, I get shown from spirit. And I did share that when I designed my cards, my mediumship cards. Spirit showed me there was a healing, like, and for our human processing. It's at I did a healing center, right? So there is that over there. There's that healing. So there's a process of when spirit passes now, and you look at it, anyone, whether it's addiction, whether depression, or just anything that's transpired prior to our passing, we go through this healing, and we also go through the understanding of why we went through that experience. And I'm a firm believer that we do come in to learn lessons as humans. I really believe that. And I often get told that. Even my mum prior to passing said, I don't want to come back and learn this lesson. And I was like, oh, that's an unusual thing to say.
Was your mum spiritually inclined or not really?
Towards the end she was, because she kind of, got to the point of been fighting cancer for about 12 years. And by the time it came back for the last time, there was pretty much, it was in the brain. And, she knew that inevitably that, that she was going to pass. So that really probably awakened her more to, exploring what was there. And I remember she used to go to, there was a couple that had a centre down the road from us. And at the time I was hairdressing. So I was like, yeah, Mum, whatever floats your boat, whatever makes you feel good, And looking back, I was probably like, yeah, Mum, that's fine. But,
okay, yeah.
And yeah, so she really connected in with that prior to passing. So yes, and I remember her saying they did some exercises and she was really good at it. She said, I was really good at picking up on what people are up to and things that were happening and that kind of thing. So yeah, I feel like she would have had it, but just never, opened up to it. And I honestly believe we can all connect to our loved ones in spirit. I honestly believe that. I don't believe just because you're a medium, you're the only person that can. And I feel we all have that within us. And it's like, building up a muscle to something. When you, get stronger, or when you practice something, you get better at it. And that truly is, the basic of it. So,
yeah, I like that.
So,
you're going.
But in saying that, going back to your question, Tony, like, yes, there's a healing aspect. So they will have a healing. And addiction is something that, I do believe we're a bit hardwired. For some of us, it's more challenging than others, and that possibly is our life lesson. If you're addicted to something, it's, it's what you do with that, whether you choose to try and overcome it. And, and sometimes it takes 20 times before it finally hits the mark, or whether you don't necessarily find the strength to be able to do that. Once you pass, the understanding becomes part of that next journey.
Wow. So the learning never stops.
No.
Learning never stops. Okay, that's really interesting. I just wanted to pull up. I've got Gay. This one cracks me up, and I have to bring our attention to this one. She has got the whip out today. Steve's on vacuum cleaning duty. Now, Gay, I've seen photos of your dinner parties, and I think a whip would not be something where you'd use it as a force of enforcement here. It'd be something that you guys get up to. That's why I love you guys. You guys are very special. Sending a big hug. Had my infusion Tuesday, and it knocks me around for a couple of days. Hope you're feeling better on that one there. Joanna's on board, which is great. And then Joanne says here, she goes, my son moves his ball. Every day, his ball is sitting next to his photo. Talk me through that one there, Joanne.
I love it. Spirit will, they will 100% be giving signs. And, to move something, that's an amazing energy. And I totally love, Joanne, that you've shared that. So he's moving his ball. So that's an object of his. He's moving it around. And you'll often hear that. Like, I often get spirit will be like, oh, they move keys around. They have a lot of fun trying to get our attention. And it really, you can imagine that's a two-way street. We need to acknowledge that that's a sign, and that is definitely, an acknowledgement of him still being with you. And the power in that is fantastic. And that's what they do. Like, I've had of late, and picture frames moving.
Really?
So you'd be like, yeah, and in every room. And it's like that spirit going, hang on. For me, wasn't necessarily specific to who it was, but it was like they needed my attention. So I needed to do some more work. And, yeah, and I was like, okay, I've got the message. I've got the message. And that's.
I'm going to use one of my best spiritual references that I can to date, the movie Ghost. For us people that are in this age group, we know the movie Ghost. If you're under the age of 30, go watch it. Great movie with Whoopi Goldberg. And it's got, who's the other dude, the good-looking dude?
Patrick Swayze.
Of course. Why I'm not surprised you would know that. Just like but there's that thing where he teaches Whoopi Goldberg how, like, he can't feel because he's in spirit realm, right? But can spirit actually touch physical objects in this realm? I thought it was like Ghost, where you can't touch. Do you know what I mean? So he actually in the movie goes through Whoopi Goldberg, and you remember that bit where he's doing the clay and all that shit and blah blah blah. And you can feel again. Sorry, look, I'm not smart. I'll be honest with you.
A lot of people do that, like, as in, because the movies, in the movies we see all these great things and we're like, oh my God. And, they do have the ability to move things, but it's with energy, not necessarily. You've got to remember there's not the physical form, but energetically, yes, they can. But it does take a bit of power to do that. And I've often found it takes them to be in spirit a little while to do that, to really fine tune it. But some of them that are extra, I say, they can do it sooner than others. Yep. So it's like there's this bit of a wow. Hey, check me out, I've got this, and it's a lot of fun.
It's showing off in their spiritual realm. I love it. That's a good one to know.
Chris, absolutely, and I love Chris has got a good one here. Would love to know if Mum and Dad and Gran gave my dad a mouthful after he passed. I can imagine them with their arms folded looking scornful. I always think, because if you can imagine it, that would be a definite outcome. But also remember that Dad's coming from a place, or came from a place, of doing the best he could. And that's no excuse for bad behaviour. But we do have a review when we get over there. So don't worry, those that, maybe left a lot to be desired in choices that they make this lifetime, there is a review that happens. So, and that's a good reminder to us all. Do the best you can.
I think, Chris, I'm really curious. Is it your dad's mum that we're talking about? Or is it the mother-in-law that we're talking about when we talk about Gran? I assume that would be very, very interesting, because two different reactions on that one. Monica goes up here. She says, I had a candle next to a photo of my grandfather. I knew it was him when the room filled with the smell of candle. I never burnt it. Ooh. So it wasn't from that. Tonia, Monica, love this share. This is a ooh. Yes. Go.
Yes, I love it. I knew it was him when the room filled with the smell of the candle. I never burnt it, so it wasn't from that. Absolutely. Our senses, when you look at it, a way that spirit communicates with us is through our senses, okay? And that's how I pick up when I'm doing a show or when I'm doing a reading. They come to me with, it's a sense of a feeling. It's the sense of smell, can be the sense of hearing. All of those senses become amplified. So for Monica to have that smell, it's like that's her sign that he's around. And often they'll try and give you the same sign so that you can be clear that that's who it is that's coming and giving you messages. But I always like to go that one step further, because I am extra on that, is, okay, we know you're around. Thank you for that. What messages what do I need to know right now? And you can actually, really.
Can you ask a question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Here you go. Can a spirit act like a mentor or a coach? And the two differences, a coach would tell you directly what to do and how to do it, whereas a mentor will actually help you steer and navigate in the correct direction that you should go. So where does spirit stand on that one?
Depends on what their personality's like.
Oh, mate, if it's like my mum, my Hungarian mother is definitely the coach. She goes, this is what you need to do and this is how you do it. And I'll be like, oh, cool. All right. That was pretty easily read. Nobody likes to be told what to do. Have you ever told spirit that nobody likes to be told what to do? You got to tell them that.
Oh, absolutely. But then, often if they come through bossy and I'm doing a show and I'll be like, oh God, here comes the bossy one. Because that's who they were. Yeah. Yeah. Hell yeah. They still, keep that, but, think about it. It's still the same personality. Like the soul is the soul. Like, yes, we can learn things as we pass to, be better and do better and, have that understanding, but we still have the personality. And some people are more retrospective in learning, those lessons than others. No different to being here.
Yep. Wow, that's interesting. Get some questions going, guys. I love it. I'm going to go to Chris's very quickly, and I'm going to come back up to Lisa here. Chris goes, it was his mum. Here you go. Chris Livett, you're going to hear it for the first time in your life. I'm going to act as if I'm the spiritual medium, and Tonia can correct me on this. Chris, what I'm saying has no facts whatsoever, but this is my assumption what's happened when your dad did meet his mum up in heaven. It went like this. She went, oh, so good to see his son. They're very connected. And then she would go into apology mode. She goes, I should have done this better. I should have maybe installed this into you, and make justification for whatever your father did. And then your father will go, oh, okay, yeah, I never saw it like that. And then they'll build a bridge, and they're in spirit world. They're like, whoa, really cool and close and everything like that. And then sort of all is forgiven and lessons are learned. That's my unofficial spiritual connection to your dad and the relationship with his mum. Chris, once again, mate, that's even made you go to sleep or made you laugh at least. But I hope you're okay with dad passing away and everybody else. It's never an easy one, is it? But yeah. So if you ever want to come to me for a reading, I strongly recommend don't, because I don't know what I'm talking about. Not like Tonia Reeves. Okay?
Oh, I love it. I think it's great. It's all about interpretation. And hey, your mum was an incredibly talented clairvoyant, Tony, so you've got way more in you than you even realise. So I think that's pretty cool. So, but they do realise, Chris. And, but I also look at it this way. We come in with the challenges. If you look at the law of we choose our parents, we choose the situations that we get ourselves in. It is a little bit interesting to go, what lessons or why have we done that? Because we come to learn those lessons. If we don't take note of those lessons, then we don't learn them in this lifetime. Do we want to come back and have to learn them again?
Yeah, you don't want to do that. It's like repeating, but repeating. Do you know what? Repeating year 3 at school, right? Because you go to year 4 and you want to go with all your mates, and then you've been told, because that's a tough time when you're in year 3. Your mates at school are everything. You've just broken away from mum and dad at home. Now you've found your new tribe at school. It's taken you 3 years to get there, best friends. Then all of a sudden they go, you got to repeat and go back a year, and you lose all your mates. Don't repeat. It's painful. Lisa, I'm going to let you go with Lisa Watt here. Hello, Lisa Watt. Good to have you on board. I like her comment. Can you see it? I'm going to let you read this one out. It's done my head in a little bit, and not in a bad way, Lisa. I love what you read. I'm just trying to understand.
Mum is at present freaking my sister out with moving things about in her house. I love it, but sadly she's not moving anything for me. She'll be coming through differently for you, Lisa. That's why, because you're more open to this possibly than your sister. So what happens is the ones that aren't quite as open to spirit being around, they have to give them really strong, obvious messages. Whereas for you, because you're already intuitive and you're already, in that spiritual zone, her signs to you would be, not probably as obvious. But I feel for you, you're definitely getting signs, but you're overlooking them. So fine tune what you're picking up, because I do feel like she's definitely around you, and it's just a case of you getting in your own way, which is often common. We get in our own way when it comes to spirit giving our messages, because we go, it's just a coincidence. It's just a coincidence. And I'm actually being pushed to spirit of like, you need to write a book on this. And I'm like, oh, okay, fit that into my time slot. But like everything is a sign. If we are open to that, every single thing is a sign, then we can really fine tune that message and what they're bringing to us as a sign.
Yep. I like this because I really feel for Lisa on this one here, because it's not like it's okay, Lisa, let's put a few things aside. Your mum's not playing favourites, all right? I'm gonna go gut feeling. She's not playing favourites. I don't think spirit world can really do that, right? I like to think not. But it's true. It's when you're pushing for that. Give me a sign, and then your sister's going like really airy-fairy, like, oh, I got another sign from mum. Oh, I got another, and you're going, oh man, seriously, you're going to join mum in a second in spirit world if you keep that up, because you're pushing for that answer. You go, where's mum? Where's mum? Where's mum?
Yeah.
And that's what you're saying. That's where you start to spiritual block yourself. You turn.
There we go. And look, Lisa's put in here, yes, I thought I'm too hard work for that. No, you're fine-tuned for her, Lisa. It's like and just think about it. If you were mum up there, you'd go, well, Lisa's she knows all this stuff. I don't need to work hard. I don't need to give her solid signs because she has that belief and faith that I'm around her regardless. So she's not giving you strong signs. Whereas a sister that's a little bit more, a little bit more skeptical. It's like, let's scare the shit out of her.
Wow. Jeez. Cool family to be a part of that one. I'd say Jen's got here. She goes, hello, Jen. How are you? I hope Tassie's treating you well. She goes, Jen, I'll nip this one in the butt, Tonia, if you don't mind. Talking about spirits giving signs to us all and everything like that. She goes, lately, I can smell baking. Jen, check your oven. You've most probably put something in there and you've forgotten about it. No, on a serious note, though, Jen, tell me a little bit more about it because I'm really intrigued. Here you go. Can I be a Tonia Reeves for a second?
Of course you can.
Jen, I'd just like to see did you have a family member that used to bake in the house a lot and it reminds you of them? I'm just going to leave it at that. If you can get back to me, Jen, I'll be back. How was that? That was Tonia Reeves' personation.
Yeah. No, I would be saying you did, not did you.
Oh, far out. See, this is why you are you. You are you, Tonia, for a reason. I suck at this game.
I love it. Jessica's put in here, how do they show up photos, if you don't mind me asking? So how do they show up photos?
Good question. I really like this one.
How do they show up in photos or show up moving photos? Because we were talking about moving photos. So let me just check. I do love Jess putting there a cigarette lighter in the car, just started to work after a partner had passed. I love that.
So is the partner saying that she should take up smoking? Is that the sign?
Keep smoking, obviously.
But that's an interesting observation, though. That is a pretty cool one.
Okay, how do they show up in photos? So Jess, I'm tipping that you're talking about orbs and energy. Sometimes you'll capture. Doesn't always capture on film. Tends to sometimes be better to capture on camera rather than phone for orbs and spirit to show through. But you definitely see that often. Like people will take photos and be like, there's like a person through a window or an energy there. So again, it's just energy. So it's just about the lens capturing that. So if you were to imagine that spirit is around you, then that's energy, and that can be captured. So that's how it happens with photos. Just because you don't see them on film doesn't mean they're not there, though. So to me, it's great when you capture that evidence because people are like, oh my God, that's amazing. But don't feel that you need to necessarily do that because remembering their energy, so they're not necessarily form over there, but they'll present as form for us because we're a bit dumb, us humans. We need like really obvious evidence. Whereas I often see them as a spark of light, and then they'll just come through as this is what I look like. This is, so you'll get visuals and things come through. But in actual fact, their essence is energy.
So let me just get this straight. I'm going to ask it, Chris Livett. You don't need to ask this question. I'm here for you already, mate. I'm going to ask for yourself, Gay, and myself. What's an orb?
It's a little round, you would have seen them, Tony. I'll send you a picture of some. They're amazing. Like, so little orb. So an orb is a little sort of gleam of light. Like, they can be all different sizes, and sometimes you can get lots of them in a picture. But it's not the reflection off the lens. Sometimes if you take a photo in the sun, you'll get a little, you get that little blue dot. You notice that? If you take a photo in the sun and you get this dot, that is basically where the lens hits the light and shows you a dot. Well, it's not that, but it's an unexplainable, and often they're very, very clear. And I love that Jessica's put in here her daughter, pictures have some orbs in it. So that's really cool. And that's, again, it's just confirmation that they're around. And that's really their main objective, is that we get the fact that they are around. More so than
you're telling me spirit is photobombing us?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's pretty cool. That's not too bad. I actually quite like that. That's quite funny. That is very, very funny. And I like how Jessica sounds like she's really, really well tuned in the spiritual sense, where she's looking for little signs and all that kind of stuff. So quite a gift you got there, Jess. I really like it. Yeah, Jen goes, not a Camilla flare. I know. Look, seriously, I'd be like, you know how some people say, oh, look, there was a now I know the term orb in the background of this photo, so that actually exists. All right, let's get some more questions going. You guys have to have some questions about what spirit talk about or what they do, or you must be curious somehow, or wanting to know an answer or something.
And I love Lisa's. I have written a book ready to publish. Go for it, Lisa. That sounds great to me.
What's
and
the book
here's your
about?
book. My sister keeps telling her, if you don't stop, I'm moving out. I think Mum wants her to move out.
There you go. That's spirit telling you straight away.
Yeah.
It's pretty powerful, that one.
That's right. And don't forget, you can then ask more, right? Because it's something we tend to forget. We go, oh, I'm aware that, hey, for Jess, her partner's around. I'm aware that he's around. She can say, hey, I need a hand with something. Give me some signs. Or, you can, there tends to be this unsaid thing. You need to ask. So if it is like Tony said, if money's the thing, I'd like some more money, or, bring me in this, I need this, or what's my next decision here? How's this going to work? Or I'm going to change jobs or something. Ask them to give you signs, and they 100% will.
Yep. I like that a lot. That's pretty good. Yeah, Jessica, she's already on it. She goes, of course I do. Yes. Gay wants to know, are my family laughing at my cleaning frenzy? Absolutely not. They're just going, about time, Gay, about time. It's like, geez.
Well, remembering, Gay, because you're moving, you have to start moving stuff out. Like, you have to energetically, I always say, no matter, if you're wanting to change from where you are, start selling off stuff, because Gay's been there a long time, and I know she's sold a lot of stuff off, but look around at your furniture. What are you taking with you? Empty the place out. Empty it out, right? Because the universe responds really well when we start to go, I know this is happening, and I'm going to take action. So action is pretty cool to go, right, look around at furniture. Like, nothing sells a house better than not a lot of furniture. So get out there, get rid of the sideboards, stuff that you don't want. Advertise them now.
Yep. Nice. That's in other words, Tonia's looking for some cheap stuff to pick up off you. She's only around the corner. She'll be there straight away. She has to renovate her house. Gay goes, I was blown away when I captured a few at, is it Beveridge? Is that where you...
Oh, yes, yeah. The pub,
is that how you pronounce it? Is it Beveridge?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Never captured my family though. Do you want to go into that one? That's an interesting one.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Look, that they will, when they're around, that's how they'll present themselves. Like, certain time, certain place, and it's just how it's meant to be. Not for everyone and not in every instance. So I feel like what is relevant to that spirit is what they'll show. So, you yes, some people get the orbs, some don't. It's not the be all and end all. To me, the main thing, and what Jess has shared there as well, is the healing that comes from knowing they're still around. Like, they are 100% still around. They're not right over there. It's like they're in another room, but it doesn't stop them from being able to reach out to us. And when you look at the love that you felt with them around you, that doesn't shift. And if we go back to, say, with Chris's dad, obviously there was, the dad's done some pretty not so great stuff. It's around getting an understanding of why. And also, if there's forgiveness that you can offer up to go, you know what, I understand that he did the best he could, might not have been great, but, that was his journey. And that also helps, because when we're looking at healing, we need to let go of anything we may be hanging on to. And, it's not your role to necessarily hang on to somebody that you're related to that maybe didn't do the best for everyone else around them. So, it's another one just to delve into. And especially when we're healing or our body needs healing, like, we want to change that dynamic and, change things totally, like, so that we can then create a new trajectory. And I honestly feel the body being, when there's dis-ease in the body, that's the body saying we need to let go. And anything like cancer or any foreign body that invades our body. And if you look up, Ines Segal has a great book. I can't think of the name of it. Monica will put it up for me, I know. Louise Hay does as well, like understanding what the body's saying when there's dis-ease in it, because there'll be something that we're hanging on to, we need to let go of, so we can go through the healing and it doesn't return. And
Wow, I
it's
like
really,
that. That's
it's
pretty
really
powerful.
powerful. We've got to make
Yeah.
those changes to be able to then, you know, swap things around so that we're not dealing with that.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know, and I
want to go
love
to
that
Joe.
Jess put there,
Yeah,
you
go
know,
on.
about it's helped with her healing. So, you know, and Lisa's put in here, then ask for another sign. Look, we all get a bit like that. We go, can I have a sign? Then they give us a sign. They go, can I have another sign?
Yeah.
But it's like, let's take it the next step further and say, hey, I want a specific sign for this.
What about,
You know?
can you, like, Lisa, just like, you're like that kid that has one Tim Tam and you want more. I have another Tim Tam. Can I have another Tim Tam? Look, you can. But I think also you got to say thanks as well before you get your next one. Like, just, I go, hey, thanks so much for that, son. I really appreciate it. Hey, look, is there any chance of getting another one? Just, you know, don't want to burden you. I know it's busy up there in spirit world. Your schedule must be so full. But just wondering if it's possible, can I grab this? But I love where you're coming from, Lisa. I like it. I really, really do. Jessica's got an interest, and there's a couple I want to, but Joanna's got a really interesting one that I'd like to bring up. But Jess brings up one here. How do you know if he's proud of me with life choices? Please. Look, Jess, I'm going to go off the cuff. Tonia, I'm going to go an off the cuff answer on this one. Two things. You don't know. And B, he'll think he's going to be proud of you no matter what, as long as you're living your true life. Whatever you believe that you should be doing, he's going to be so proud of you. When you start to sell out on yourself, that's where he'll be going, come on, you can do this, you can do this. So just be the best you. And that means it's going to be good, bad, and ugly. Okay, you're going to have good moments, bad, ugly moments, and that's just life. But as long as you're trying, that's where it will come into. That's my non-spiritual, totally being a human being, flesh and blood answer.
I love it. No, that's very relevant. Very, very relevant. Of course, he'd be really proud of you. And I honestly feel like also that there's an acknowledgement there that you've followed his signs that he's given you to do things. And so there's a lot of pride in that, knowing that he's still making a difference. Even though he's not physically with you, he's there in spirit. So the pride comes through with giving you signs and you taking note of them. So I feel like there's a lot of power, and well done. I want to say that to you personally too, Jess. Well done, because it's not easy, and you know you've worked through some big decisions, and 100% there's happiness there, and I do feel like it's taking a bit of fire, being outside in the fire. I don't know, there's a fire pit or something. It just is flashing up this. I don't know whether you've moved house from where you were when they were together, so I feel a bit like something around movement and being outside by the fire. So nice. I just had to bring that through because you're just flashing that through quickly. So, Jess, so definitely 100%.
Yeah,
Joanne's
I really like that one.
Yeah, Joanne's
the one about her son.
My son couldn't walk when he was alive, but he'd be walking in spirit. They love that, Joanne. It's like to say that, Mum, I'm okay. I'm able to move around, and remembering we leave the physical body behind. So 100%, once that body is shed, he's over there. And I want to say with your son creating havoc, but there's a lot of other kids as well. So it's really important to know he's not on his own over there. And that's often when the young ones pass, they like to come back and say, hey, I've got other family or friends up there. You know, I'm not by myself. So please, take that as a sign as well, and that he is moving around 100% because he's very active, very, very active. So still very active.
Can I do a coaching bit on this one here, just for the hell of it, on terminology, where Joanne goes, I miss him every day, and I reckon it would be really, really tough. But I think instead of I miss him every day, it'd be like I connect with him every day because she thinks of him.
Absolutely.
And to take that as a, oh wow, I get to connect with him every day on a spiritual realm. And I know that's going to bring up emotions and everything, but it's also got to be an emotion of joy as well. Like, yep, I'm still connected with him, knowing that what you just said then, where he's running amok up there. Don't you worry about that, Joanne. He's absolutely doing it. There's one that I wanted to bring up, and I loved it. It was from Chris Livet. Let's take Tonia Reeves. This is a good one. Chris Livet, you're a genius. By the way, we haven't sent him to sleep yet. My apologies, Chris. I thought we might be able to do that for you. Okay, Chris, he asked this question, really great question. In the spirit world, separate to heaven and hell, or is it all the same? I'm an atheist, but I do believe in an afterlife. So is there a heaven and hell? I think that's the premise of that question.
Love it, Chris. No, in everything that I have been shown, no heaven and hell. There's no separation. Like, we all started as one, and we all go back. And
Chris
I
has
say
just
we go
gone,
home.
Oof, thank God for that.
Tony's really relieved about that one. But 100%, there is not a separation. And when spirits show me, so when I connect in with them and the energy up there, it's very unconditional. So it's like this love of, and I say, I liken it to, for those of you that maybe had children or had that moment where you've just felt that unconditional love, and it almost overtakes you. There's that energy over there. And yes, the ones that have lived, because I look at it and go, what about all the terrible people that do absolutely horrendous things that really, I'd be the first one to go, they need to, be put through the ringer for what they've done here to others in this lifetime.
You'd be a great God. Look, mate, I'm going to put you through the ringer for what you.
That's right. There is an onus on that, and I do believe that if we choose to go down the path of harming people and doing things like that, like from what I can see over there are repercussions. So even though they're offered that healing, I do believe that whether that is to come back and then be the one that gets receives the hard life here, I'm not 100% on that, but that's what I feel.
That's a bit of a karma conversation, isn't it? Yeah, that supports karma in a way, doesn't
absolutely. I do believe in karma. I do. I really do. Yeah. And I love it, Chris, that you're an atheist, but I do believe in after. Fantastic. And we've all got to honour how we feel. And I think right in this day and age, it's all about trusting what feels right for us. And I'm the first one to say, I'm not here to preach my version to anyone else. I'll share my version, and we'll all have a different version. And I think it's great. I really do. And I think it keeps us subjective to life, and we're all here to have our own journey on it. So thank you. Great question. Love it.
It is a good question. I like it. It keeps us morally accountable. It will allow us to go, okay, is this right? Is this wrong? I like it. I like the idea of it. Who knows? I think we're also designed not to know what happens in the afterlife. That's just me. I think we're created like that as humans, that we don't get 100% of the clear picture there. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Right, Monica did put up that book that you were talking about is called The Secret Language of the Body, and it's at Big W for $22. There we go.
Yes. So there you go. So Chris, I would look into that, because I think healing comes from within, and I think sometimes it's the that connection, it's the mind and the body and all the rest of it is really fascinating. But you can look into that and see what resonates with you, of course.
Yeah. Jen puts in a book you might be familiar with it, Tonia. Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Heart.
Yeah, love it. That's an amazing one. Yeah. You can heal your heart. There's also You Can Heal Your Life. And along with the secret language of the body, they're all fascinating tools, and it doesn't cost you anything to do the recommendations that they give. So to me, it's like you've got nothing to lose, but it can make you start to really question and go, okay, I've been given this illness or this aspect of being unwell. What does it mean for me? And, I'll often look at that with my body. Like, I've had my neck's been really playing up, and the neck is a resistance to something, so it means that I've been looking at, okay, where am I resisting, and where am I not being flexible and flowing? And just by acknowledging that, it's come nearly 100%. So they're the things that we want to grab onto.
Nice. I like that. That's a really nice insight there. And Evichka says, hello, Evichka, how are you? She goes, head cold, so no Mind Body Spirit Festival. I hope your head cold does clear up, Evichka. It's not good. A lot of people are coming down at the moment with head colds and colds and everything. So we'll be thinking of you. That's for sure. Pity you can't come down. Look, if you clear up by Sunday, what time are you on Sunday? You doing a Sunday?
2 o'clock. 2 o'clock Sunday. Yeah. So
2 o'clock.
Great time slots. Yeah. Two.
So, Avitch, I'm going to send you all the healing powers that I've got. I don't know how much that is, but by Sunday 2 o'clock, boom, you're in Sydney checking this out. That's where you're at.
I know. I'd love to see a Avitch card. Yeah. Always
cool,
great to catch.
Yeah, exactly. And what was it? There was another one. Yep, got that one. Sorry.
And then Jen was saying headache, sore throat 3 days now. My youngest is sick. I think he may have spicy though. I hope you're feeling well again soon. Yeah. So there is, like you explained, Tony, there is a lot not going around at the moment. People with colds, or Andrew's had a bit of hay fever, and which is you never get this time. Well, actually more sinus, I should say. But
yep, that's all right.
Jen's put in here hot toddy whiskey. They will fix you, Ivichka.
Jen, I've been having them every day, and I don't even have a cold. I don't need an excuse, is what I'm saying, Jen. But yeah, well, hey, we're about to wrap up, guys. I'm going to say thank you, everybody. Really interesting chats today. We were asking questions about what does spirit say? What do they think? What are the questions we want to ask for somebody who can actually really well connect with them? That's Tonia Reeves, which is great. Tonia, excited to have you in Sydney. We'll be catching up a few times this weekend, so that's great. So yes. For everybody that doesn't know, and anybody listening out there, let's have a look. So when are you on stage at the Mind Body Spirit Festival at Sydney, which is the ICC Centre down at Darling Harbour?
Yes.
What times are you on?
So 2 o'clock, I'm pretty much on it from 2 till 3 every day except for Saturday, and Saturday's 3 to 4. So
nice.
Yeah, very excited. Can't wait. It's always a lot of fun. Sydney's got a great vibe. I love it.
Yep, absolutely. And look, honestly, if you haven't seen Tonia before live, like what you hear, you get the snippets from just listening to us in this community here. But when you go and see her actually do her work, it is magnificent. It's like, what you've got here, ladies and gentlemen. Today you've got the hors d'oeuvres, you've got the canapes. And then what you do is when you go to her live show, it's like you're watching the live cooking demonstration of how she created it. And it's just amazing. It is the best. I love it. I absolutely love it. So for all you guys there, now we won't see you for about 3 weeks now because
I'm off to I'm going to London on Monday. So we fly back in from Sydney. Tonia's become more famous
than all of us. She's outgrown our community. She's hit celebrity status. We've lost her. Damn. All right, guys. Next week is just going to be me and just all of you guys, and we're just going to be in our simple little abodes. No, but I won't be here for the next 3 weeks even. Tell us what you're doing in London. That's quite
the Mind Body and Spirit Festival. So I'll be going over with Animal Dreaming. Scott's going to be on the main stage, and I will be on the stand, which I'm really excited about. It's going to be a lot of fun. First time over there for the Mind Body and Spirit Festival for me, so I can't wait. And and then we might have a little bit of a look around Scotland is Andrew's request. So we might do a little bit of driving. So we won't be online, and then I think by the third week we'll be on. And we would have just got back in, so we'll be jet lagged. So, after the long weekend, we will be back. Great whiskey in Scotland. I'll share that with Andrew. It's pretty good. It's a great place. Okay. Scotland's a beautiful place, actually. You guys haven't been before, have you? Yeah, I have. Oh, you have. Not, Andrew hasn't. So he's from there, so he can't wait. Oh, yep. His family are from there. Yep. All the people are sending you a lot of love. Tonia, wishing you all the best in London and also for Mind Body Spirit Festival this weekend in Sydney. So get on down there. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being the best community we could ever find. I love the questions today. Absolutely great. Ripper questions. Wishing all the best for everybody on this feed. Chris, hopefully you recover quickly. And for the rest of you going through stuff as well, wishing you all the best. And Tonia, I'll see you later on. Okay. Take care, everyone. And have a wonderful few weeks. We'll miss you all, but we'll see you when we get back with lots of tales to tell. Much love to you all. Bye for now.